one's a prize on your hand. Hold tight, don't lose your way, chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one, bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like us. We are the kings, we are the queens, we will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the sand knows the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try, chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one, bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like us. We are the kings, we are the queens, we will rise up to the top. Even when you fall, sticks and stones may break your bones, but you are stronger than the heaviest waves. The earthquake won't shake you, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen, you are the truth of the land. You rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. You rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. You rise up, climb to the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like us. You are the king, you are the queen, you will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't drown in the dust. The land of the sand one's a prize on your hand. Hold tight, don't lose your way, chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one, bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like us. We are the kings, we are the queens, we will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the sand knows the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try, chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one, bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, your face and sword. Go fight a secret eye, win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the arc. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on to the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like us. We are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Even when you fall, sticks and stones may break your bones, but you are stronger than the heaviest waves. The earthquake won't shake you, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen, you are the truth of the land. You rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. You rise up higher, conquer the arc. Get ready to fight for your life. You rise up, climb to the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like us. You are the king, you are the queen. You will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't drown in the dust. The land of the S0NG, a prize on your hand. Hold tight, don't lose your way, chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret eye, win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the arc. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on to the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like us. We are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the S0NG, the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try. Chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret eye, win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the arc. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on to the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like us. We are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Even when you fall, sticks and stones may break your bones, but you are stronger than the heaviest waves. The earthquake won't shake you, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen, you are the truth of the land. You rise up higher, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. You rise up higher, conquer the arc. Get ready to fight for your life. You rise up, climb to the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you like
Welcome, 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 rockers! Woo! It's Anthony with the Bowl Burritos bringing you a brand new live stream. And boys and girls, I hope y'all are as excited as I am. It is gonna be lit today. We are gonna be casting over SX54 versus S0NG, two absolutely legendary teams in the scene. And they're also what we regard as one of the pools of death in the Horus realm. So I hope y'all are as excited as I am. We already had a couple of upsets today, so we'll quickly touch on those. And then we got to intro our duo, our counterpart, a beard bro himself, always looking good on stream, Dragothian Gaming. Make sure to go check him out if you haven't already. And yeah, we're just going to be diving into it. I'm going to bring him into the stream. Make sure if you haven't already, cast your vote on the poll above. We're gonna close that up here in a hot second. Let us know who you think is going to be winning the upcoming match. So let me go ahead and bring in Drago. Are you there, my friend?
Oh, I couldn't be any more here. Yeah, we had a solid match this morning already, and this one's looking just as juicy, if not more so. So excited to cast this with you there, Bulba.
Yeah. So I just brought up the team comparison, the alliance comparison for these two teams. We're seeing SX54 at 2.8 billion, and then we have S0NG coming in thick at 5 billion total power. Yeah, almost a little under double the power. But you know, I kind of want to talk to you about the differences and does it really make that big of a difference when it comes to total power?
You know, my general rule of thumb is once you hit that 2.5 to 3 billion mark, it's really about how many healing speed ups you got. The quality of the quality of the players when we're talking about who's actually on these teams, the equipment does not translate really into the power. So it's just troops. And if you know a team has got really quality sound equipment and they're around that 2.5 to 3 billion number, they're going to have what it takes to fight with the big boys, even in the 5 to 6 billion range. It's just a matter of, are they willing to spend a little bit of speed ups to heal if they need to? Yeah,
of course. Yeah. And last season, I know we saw it with JST. Actually, we saw it again with SX54, where hard fought KVKs, gem healing, and oh man, the heal numbers were insane with those two teams. So I suspect, just like Drago said, you know, typically when it comes to power, once you reach that certain threshold, it's just all about how much you're going to have to heal in the given match. And I know that SX54 have a phenomenal history with pulling some massive upsets. So, you know, you can't sleep on them. You can't sleep on them. And I'm definitely excited. We're getting ready to load up into the game in the last minute. So, Drago, what are your final thoughts on this match before we dive into it?
Well, first off, it looks like my volume might be a little bit low on the stream, but my final thoughts are, I mean, like you said, I think we highlighted it perfectly. SX54 has done this in the past. They've beaten teams that are almost double their power. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we could see the underpowered team take the victory here. And, I mean, we're looking at S0NG, right? S0NG put on a clinic a few seasons ago on how to properly play Arc. I think that they did a very good job, especially early in the playoffs, before they started going up against the JSTs and, you know, the 60 GT type teams where they're just the cream of the crop, right? SX54 in the same boat, like they were hanging with the big boys, but sometimes it just gets to the point where you might just be outclassed. So I think these teams are equally positioned to take the win here, and that's why this is going to be such an exciting match.
All right. So let me know, guys, if the audio cleared up for Drago. That way we can make sure we get his crispy voice.
My dulcety tones.
Ooh. All right. We're entering the match. Seeing some graphics pop up. Let me remove my non-beautiful face from this stream. There we go. And we're diving into the graphics, boys and girls. I hope you're always excited. Let me go ahead and close this poll for us real quick. We'll see how that is. Make sure, if you haven't already, stay tuned to the stream. They are going to be running giveaways in the chat, so pay attention. And I hope good luck to everybody. Hope y'all win some gems.
Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing this thing flesh out. You know, at the very beginning, it's usually kind of, you know, I won't say boring, but there's a standard opening to a lot of these matches. I haven't really seen, with the exception of TR from last season, really make any kind of big moves that are not normal. Like, say, again, you know, going after the obelisk at the very beginning with a hard push like TR did last year, or using using was it sneaky tactics in the middle to try, and I mean some of that stuff, right? This is an alliance that's in the same kingdom as TR, so I mean, who knows what they're going to do. I know that at the end of the day though, but this team is going to be a solid match for Song, even though the number discrepancy is a little off. I think the talent and the skill discrepancy is zero. So I'm looking forward to seeing these two teams mash up against each other, and really looking forward to seeing how the middle goes. That's going to be my eyes on moment.
Yeah, I'm excited for that as well. Song's been notorious for just dominating in middle. Yep. So, we're going to see how SX does. They tend to do very, very well. Their strategy tends to lean more towards occupation. Hey, popping hellos in the chat. They tend to focus a lot on occupation and hoping to snub one of those arcs in the middle. But Song has shown through their record that they're confident that they can capture 4, sometimes 5 arcs, depending on their opponent. And it's just a clinic to watch. And coming from our previous stream of watching JST, I am excited to see if we're going to see a little tussle, because this is a group of death. So it's kind of you're going to pull out some strats from the bag that normally you probably would have saved for top 16. So I'm kind of expecting. So who do you think is going to end up taking more of the arcs in the middle, Jago?
Don't ask me that before the match even. Look, we got 25 seconds left before this thing even starts. I will say this. So, the first winner of season 1, OV, their strategy has really been solid throughout. And that's another team that's playing right now in the 15 UTC hour. Their strategy has always been win the middle. And, if we give up a couple buildings every now and again, as long as it's not overwhelming, we're in good shape, because we're going to get a ton of points from the middle while also provisioning on the back end. Song kind of had a very similar strategy for the most part, a little bit different, but for the most part, very similar. So I'm looking to see if SX54 is able to disrupt that, because really, if you take one of those arcs away from Song, or just like with OV, and we saw them lose in season 2 of Osiris League, I think that could disrupt. So I'm looking to see if that ends up being the case, if SX54 does that, if they try to do it on the first arc, or if they try to do it on the third arc, which is worth more points. So all these marches are coming out there, Bulba. I'm seeing a lot of T1 Siege. I'm seeing a lot of gold shinies. Of course, everybody here is going to have in the playoffs for Osiris League T5 troops, and looking to see how these things start to clash with each other.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of XYs. We're going to see we saw that a lot from Song and 60 GT last season. And the XYs just reign supreme in the middle. So we're going to see if that changed up a little bit. I was clicking. We did see some Guans, some Ethels, some nice combos. A couple of Alexes in here. Very interesting. Okay, a little Artemisia action in here. It does look fairly split even, going top and bottom. Let's go ahead and flip over to SX and check out those marches and see what they're bringing to the party. They're bringing some Saladins. Go ahead.
Well, I see 4 rallies coming in favor of SX54 versus only 2 on Song. So I'm wondering if Song is looking to play very defensively when it comes to where they're going to be positioning their troops. Right now, both of those rallies are on the bottom side. Very interesting. There's no rallies for the top side for Song. So that's kind of curious to me. Are they going to focus on the bottom side and put their heavy hitters down there and try and take over one side, readjust the map? Or they? That's interesting. There's no top side obelisk. There's no bottom or top side self obelisk on their side either. It's really bottom side all the way on the enemy obelisk and the Song obelisk.
Yeah, checking out all the rallies that are going out right now. SX only launching 2, so this is going to be fairly interesting. We'll see. You'll see this very, very often in these matches where they'll direct towards a node in order to hide the amount of marches that are going to be coming. Because once you see those red lines or blue lines coming at those shrines and altars, you automatically know what's going to be happening. So we're going to see bottom side. We're moving up. Oh, just like that. You see all the blue lines just vectoring straight bottom side towards the Song Desert Altar. Let's go ahead and go on top side and see what we're looking at on the side of Song.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm already ahead of you on that one. With having the rallies going to the bottom side, that made me shift my attention actually to the top side, because what I'm not seeing from Song right now is a major push towards this desert altar, which means to me, I mean, I see some marches coming that way, but not nearly enough to be able to try and take this desert altar away from SX54 with how much they've got coming. There's no rally to the obelisk on the top side for SX54 from Song, which means, again, there's no push coming towards this desert altar. They're basically letting them have it uncontested, which, again, at this level of the game, very surprising that that's not happening. Let's see what they use their extra marches for somewhere else. Obviously, I think what they're trying to do is be very defensive with 90 seconds left until these two desert altars open up for both sides. I'm curious to see if SX can still push through, even though Song is really heavily focusing on defending their own desert altar on the bottom side.
And that's very unique and different, because Song has never been known as a defensive team, and I can tell, we can both tell you that. So this is very, very surprising, and SX54 are being the aggressors on the bottom side, which is where Song's focus was at. So we're going to see a big clash on the bottom side for sure.
I'm honestly trying to figure this out. So Sky Altar on the top side as well, being aggressed by SX54. Song forcing themselves to go over with their marches to defend that area. 50 seconds left until that Sky Altar unlocks. I'm wondering if maybe they can get all four. SX54 could possibly, with the troops that they have available now, not having to defend their own desert altar, be able to push the Sky Altar on the top side and possibly having all four altars pop in their favor right off the bat. That would be a huge bonus. That's basically capturing an arc before the arc even spawns with the initial captures for those structures.
And not to mention, being the aggressor in these kinds of situations benefits you as well on rotation towards middle, because now your marches are going to die off. They're already going to be home, and then you can send fresh troops to go to the middle prior to the rotation coming in. So we're seeing SX on the bottom desert altar. We got 8 seconds before standing outside.
Oh my goodness, this could be a disaster for Song.
Oh.
Here we go. It's open. Okay, so
go.
Song.
Oh, they get in.
Split.
SX get in on the bottom side. Song, let's flip over here. Let's see real quick. But they don't have the numbers over here. They got a Guan garrison. Yo.
I mean, rallies should be out. Yeah, I was going to say rallies should be definitely out. You got 5 rallies coming from Song right now, only 2 from SX54. I'm wondering if they're still just trying to push these altars, and that's where their attention's going to. By the way, guys, in chat, there is a 1,000 gem giveaway. Make sure you click the link on the Rise of Kingdoms announcement there. Giveaway here. Submit your Gov ID here. Click the form. Submit your Governor ID and the information they're asking for, and you have a chance to win 1,000 gems, people.
All right, and just like that, the 2 altars on the bottom side just flip-flop to the respective. Yep. There it is, a minute 14 on SX. You should see them probably hard pushing over here to this altar. They could also be setting up. See a little El Cid action. Man.
That desert altar on the bottom side is still under duress. A lot of SX54 still swarming that Artemisia garrison for Song, and there's a lot of blue here still. I don't think they're going to have enough to not take it back again. Now, does SX54 have enough here to hold it for 2 minutes? That's the question. I think it's going to pop over here shortly.
Well, the question's going to be, are they willing to sacrifice a little bit of marches in the middle? Because we're getting into that realm where even if they neutralize this, you're already going to have to start rotating here in about 45 seconds towards middle. So, you know, at the same token, and I do see a blinking on the, where is it at? There it is. Pakal on a Jadwiga. That should go down. So,
Song doing what they're supposed to do there. Just leaving it to let the rally die and making the troops stay instead of go back to their city to get refreshed. It looks like this desert altar on the bottom lane will go down, but Jadwiga being well reinforced by Song just enough. Maybe they will be able to hold it. But again, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to hold it if SX54 does take it. Yeah,
and the difficulty comes is, even if they do retake it, they're going to lose focus on middle, which ultimately, like we say, it's the first arc, but what that first arc allows you the opportunity to do is control the pacing of the match and dictate kind of the pace at which, if your troops are going to return, you can resend. You just control the way that the map's going to be moving. So I think let's go check out middle. Nobody's in middle right now. So
I was just about to say middle's a barren wasteland, and there's a reason for that. Song is heavy pushing all forward structures. They may take the Desert Altar on the top lane. They may take the Shrine of Life on the top lane. This could be a big flip for Red. They went ahead and delayed of their heavy pushes from the beginning, and went ahead and pushed hard maybe 3 or 4 minutes after the norm, and this may pay huge dividends as you see that top Desert Altar going red and the Obelisk going red for Song. This could be a huge shift for SX54 to have to deal with only 4 minutes left until the arc spawns.
And 45 seconds before they can start porting into this Obelisk, or this zone. So we'll keep our eyes on this. That could be game changing right there. And the smooth start from SX slowly getting pulled back by Song. So the match is starting to heat up. We're going to start rotating towards middle here in a minute, 3.5 minutes. We got Hulk coming in from Song. Now Song's starting to approach from the middle. So let's see how this goes.
I'm pretty sure this top Desert Altar did not get its first occupation. I'm almost 100%. With 3 seconds left, we're about to see if they get a big 750-point jump. Desert Altar for Song. On the bottom lane, maybe?
They just
the points didn't jump. Maybe it was a little bit of a delay. It still seems pretty knotted up, so maybe they already did. Maybe SX54 did get there. You know what they did, because they captured it without any duress. So they did get their points. My bad on that one. On the bottom lane, though, SX54 did not get the first occupation for the Desert Altar from Song. So everything's kind of equaled out, although, again, when I say equal, Song has three altars.
Yeah.
Point generation right now is heavy in favor of the red team. 790 on the points per minute versus only 330 for SX54. So SX54 is really going to have to take this art.
Yeah, and I really want to see what SX do in the middle, because we all know that Song is very aggressive in middle, and I really want to see how SX are going to counter that. Right now we are seeing some Hondas in the middle. I do want to see.
Weird to see. So weird for me to see.
I did hear of some teams using a bunch of Hondas in the middle too. So
the Honda YSG.
I know Damia's in the chat hoping to see about 10 Trajans on the field, but I don't know. I only saw a couple. Let's flip over some structures, see what we're looking like. These altars are always being contested. Dude, there's a Barca on the field. Yo, let's go.
More troops, I guess.
Barca Caesar Scipio, or Barca Caesar spotted. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, Song doing some great harassment right now. They've got 2 outposts from SX54. That is such a pain in the butt to deal with, because they're not really that close to any particular structure, or at least that close to anywhere in particular that you should be at, especially considering the arc spawns in just 1 minute and 45 seconds. So SX54 is pouring into the middle, but looks to be maybe a smidge behind on the Song train. Song train is definitely getting organized a little bit more quickly in the middle. I will say, though, SX54 is a little bit closer to the temple, though, so we'll see how that plays out, and if Song is able to push SX54 off of the temple and get that commanding positioning that a lot of us like to see. Song has kind of done things a little bit differently so far, and it's worked in their favor. Right now they have a 1,400-point lead, and again, points per minute is still in their favor, 650 points per minute versus only 380 for SX54. So, and Song's doing a great job.
And I just zoomed back to the obelisk that we said that we were going to keep our eyes on, and it appears Song has already
they ported in.
Ported in 3 accounts. There's a 94 mil. We got 200
mil account.
So we're going to see. This is what we thought was going to happen in the JST match when you had players. They are just going to constantly be attacking this obelisk over and over and over again. So it's just to be a nuisance. And at this point, what I want to see is SX have to put the pedal to the metal, because now, as in the JST match as well, ooh, with an early skill pop, somebody.
25 seconds left.
Well, they popped it and everyone's AFK.
Yeah, those are very early for both sides.
For both sides, yeah. Shoot, if I was Song, I wouldn't have even popped the skill. I would have sat there and waited to SX's runs out and then go and approach him.
Well, the battle's starting in the middle. It's a big cluster mess in there with both teams popping buffs. It looks like Song popped both war drums and defensive formation, whereas SX54 only has defensive formation. Lots of blue marches going back for SX54, and while that's all happening, Again, their obelisk is still under duress on the top lane, and looks like it may actually go down. Red again here in 2. No, they just got the nice little reinforcement there at the last second, but they do also have SX54's Sky Altar on the bottom lane as well. So the points per minute total is still in favor of Song, with this match in the middle being decided by, really, it looks like more and more Song. Well, no, SX54 is looking like they're pouring in too.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about what SX are doing is they got the first pull, which naturally gives you a little bit of a gap when you're starting to pull the arc, and you should consistently see this right now, where they're just going to consistently keep trying to pick it up, and keep inching it along, because it's very rare in these kinds of matches that you're going to clear out the entire field. It's just about who's going to pick it up. And just like that, with Song scooping it up, the numbers are coming in. Lots of skill damage all over the place. There's a Honda. Honda spotted. Hey, let's go. There's multiple Hondas in the middle.
Wow, this is looking very strong for both sides, really. They're doing a great job of clearing the field. I will say that Song does look like they're clearing a little bit better, a lot more SX54 going home than Song, but I think Song also doesn't have nearly as many troops in the middle as SX54 does, and that's helping them also aggress on the outsides and still capturing the arc. Was Song there for a little bit. It's back basically dead center middle after having dropped it again. But I mean, look at all the other buildings still flashing. We have a Gilgal Rally on the Shrine of War on the bottom side. We still have SX54 trying desperately to get that Sky Altar on the bottom lane back, but unfortunately for them, Jadwiga Garrison with proper reinforcements sitting there on the open field waiting, and with SX54 having all their troops in the middle, Song's just kind of sitting here camping it. They're like, okay, well, we'll just keep on filling this and keep taking the points. Please and thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And what Song's doing a really, really great job of in middle, while we were talking about structures, is if they know that they're losing some marches in the middle, so even if they know their march is going to die, picking up that arc and then you having your march just die adds on. It's almost a delay tactic at that point, where it's 10 seconds that then somebody has to waste to go and pick it up again. And if you can stack a couple of those, you can then start delaying people from that point, and nobody's picking it up right now. But on the outside, there's a ton of structures, and I really want to go check them out, that are flicking red all over the place. And the structure game is looking really nice for Song right now.
It's not even just the structure game, it's their presence around their structures. Not only their structures, but the offensive structures. Song just didn't need to commit nearly as much to the middle as SX54 did, and they are still fighting for that arc in the middle, but there's not nearly as many troops as there were before, and Song does have the numbers advantage in the middle as well. So with all this stuff blinking on all sides, and really Song kind of looking like they've, at least for the most part right now, solidified the middle. There's more SX54 coming in to reinforce, but it's going to be kind of, they trickle in and they start getting walloped one by one instead of it being a mass push like it was at the very beginning. Song has the arc right now and is moving with it with a quickness, by the way. Is that double C? No, that's an infantry march. Wait, no, that's a Saladin march. My bad.
Salad man, yes.
Yep.
And even with SX, even with SX bringing the numbers in the middle, it's just a matter of understanding that they're going to commit some. They'll keep inching it along. It's going to get closer to their side, which means it's faster to reinforce and bring more marches towards middle. So every inch that they keep bringing it to their side just helps them more and more. And on top, you're forcing SX to either do one of two things. They either need to commit to this arc, or they need to refocus on the outside and try to neutralize what this point game is going to be, because they're already down by 300 points, and this arc's worth 3,000. So if you're SX, you really do need to try to attempt to get this arc, which is what they're trying to do right now.
Yep. I mean, I see 5 rallies going right now, 2 for the SX54 side and 3 for Song. And again, they're just continuing to rally the major structures of SX54 while also winning the middle, or at least winning in the sense that they've got the arc on their side. SX54 is going to have to pull some tricks out right now if they want to go ahead and try and get this thing back towards their side, or at least take one of the structures on the offensive side and then capture it there. But that's going to be a very difficult proposition, considering how organized Song is across the map. I mean, just everywhere I look, there's 5, 6, 7 marches for Song where SX54 really should be.
Yeah, and I'm looking at garrisons right now. All these forward-facing structures have Jadwiga on the side of Song, which is not uncommon. We saw this a lot last season just because of how fast you can reinforce across the map with Cav. And then Zenobia doing what Zenobia does. You know what I mean? You're just not going to take her down with 3 or 4 marches swarming. You know what I mean? And that's here come the reinforcements for this Zenobia. If you get a couple in here, this is already chalked on these additional marches. And this is where your top-notch gameplay is going to come in, is the clutch reinforcements. Watch this. Let's see. Oh, and they insta-switch back. So they at least neutralized it for a couple of minutes. But y'all saw it was that close, and they're wrapping around. SX at this choke point right now where the arc is at. They do have the numbers, but they do not have the structures to capture it.
I mean, I'm looking at the Desert Altar on the bottom lane. It's just sitting there ripe for the picking. I think that SX54 is trying to everything they can to at least slow the arc carrier down, which they just did by making him drop it. They're trying to also take their own structures back on the back side, and with an a Mandatory Artemisia holding the Desert Altar on the top lane for Song, that's easier said than done without a rally, which is going to take at least a minute to get there. So I think Song's doing everything they need to be doing. They're up by 4,000 points already, and they've got a 3,000 point arc that they're trying to capture and bring back to their it looks like probably, well, it's moving. Well, that's SX54 who has it right now, at least for the moment. Tons of Song in the area. They're probably trying to bring it back to their own obelisk on the bottom side to try and dictate the pace of the game at that point. Arc is down.
Yeah.
SX54 still humming around, though. They could definitely take this, and they need it. They absolutely need this. They're already down 4,000 points and then some.
Yeah.
And that arc is something that's going to keep them in the game.
And the question really is, I just saw Akira. The question really is, where are they going to take it? You know what I mean? We didn't see a rally that was on this altar. You know, the outpost, they're running it in the opposite direction of the outpost. So I'm a little confused as to where we plan on running this arc, even with SX. If I was going to run it back like this, I would have ran it back towards the middle, because then you're not bringing it closer to the enemy structure to help them. So that's the only confusing part that we're running into right now. But once again, Song turning up the heat. Structures are flipping over once again. And I
mean, when you got Hulk rallying on the top lane, he's got proc everything, max tech everything. So I mean, he's in solid shape. And when he's also the Garrison sitting there with a, oh man, he's just got everything knotted up really nicely for Song on the top lane. It really helps free up some marches to do other things, which is exactly why Song looks like they just have marches everywhere. That arc is still moving in Song's favor, and they do have it. And the blue is starting to dwindle out as well, just because they're just getting overwhelmed on the field, being right beside where Song spawns in on the bottom lane. And it's looking like, again, with the points per minute total being so heavily in favor of Song, 770 points per minute versus 380 for SX54. This is going to be tough for SX54 to recover from.
Yeah, and I'm watching a Gilga on a Zenobia right now on the Shrine of War bottom side for SX, and Gilga's putting in some work. I do see the arc moving. Let me see. Click on it. Oh yeah, they're free and clear on the arc run now. It's just a matter of whether they're going to hold it, cap it, and try to run it up a little bit. So,
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily want to see Song being able to fully commit to the structure game against SX54. The way that it's already gone, it's going to be a little bit devastating. Sky Altar on the bottom lane now again taken back in favor of Song after losing the Desert Altar on the top lane, having taken it just prior as well for Song. So, I mean, they just keep flip-flopping the biggest point-generating total buildings for SX54 every single time that it caps. Which basically means that SX54 is just not getting any points without winning the arc, and Song has the arc. So I think that's kind of a double whammy there for Song in their favor. Almost double the point total now at 16,000 versus 8,000. Looks like they did capture that arc. Are they trying to run the point total up here? What's going on?
Wasting no time.
Waste not, what not.
Yeah, and exactly. Look, and this is what we mean by, and you'll see it with JST and other teams as well, 1v. And they insta-cap this, and look where all their marches. They're not going backwards. They're all marching forward. They're not giving up the map presence. And that's what you ideally want to see, is the pressure that you apply on your opponents will affect exactly, what's going to happen. I like to see that SX aren't holding back and turtling up. They are pushing a little bit more, but the key is going to be is with Song is their marches are low enough to where they should die, and the timing should line up where they're going to be rotating with fresh marches in the middle again, and SX could be having half dead marches go in the middle. So that's what that controlling that timing is what's going to come in play in the next arc.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we got seven minutes left until that next arc spawns, but I mean, just look at the red. Not only do they have the Sky Altar on the bottom side, but they have all 3 outposts, which again, like I said at the beginning of the match, is just so annoying for the for the team to have to deal with, to have to get those things back. They're just so out of the way for everything else that's going on the battlefield, and when you have to send 2 marches over there to take out one reliably every single time, and I think they've actually dedicated at least 2 players to doing that, because I see 3, 4, 5 marches running around between those outposts every single time I hop up there from Song. So I mean, they've got to do something to normalize their base, which is going to be difficult to do. They might need to just send a march or 2 in each one of those just to hold it, so Song can't just keep taking it. They're just taking away every point generating possibility for SX54. It's 800 points per minute for Song in favor of Song instead of 350 points per minute for SX54. That's just rough. That's the way it's been the whole match.
Yeah, and a lot of people sleep on the outpost, but when you're losing 80,
90 points per minute.
Yeah, and you're constantly losing, they're constantly neutral, you're always going to be playing a little bit behind, just a little bit, but it stacks up once it starts stacking up. And we did see it at the very beginning. They send, I believe it was 5 marches straight up the middle. They just attack the outpost right off the rip. So that is something we're seeing non-stop Jadwigas right now on the side of Song, which is insane how well she's tanking.
I'm looking at some of the cities inside of the SX54 port-in zone, and there's only maybe 1 or 2 that have more than 100 million power. And I don't say that just to highlight power, but I say that to highlight the fact that on the other side of the fence on the red team, I think there's only 1 or 2 that are not 100 million power or more, which means that the troop count on these things are absolutely in favor of in favor of Song. Literally, there's only one city on the bottom lane for Song that is not 100 million power, whereas on the top side for SX54, there's only 1 or 2 cities that are over 100 million power. Everybody else is starting to run out of troops already, and we're only about 20 minutes into the match.
Yeah, I think, and this is what's going to be look at this Honda swarm. Oh, boys. Drago's about to go max Honda. I'm just kidding.
No, he's not.
So yeah, we're gonna keep checking out these altars, and then you should see SX. And at this point, you're down 10K. You know that the next arc's gonna be spawning in 5 minutes. If you are SX, are you overcommitting for middle, or are you gonna try to pull a double whammy and do structures and mid game? If it was you.
Well, when you're losing on all 3 phases, I mean, I don't know what the provisioning numbers. I mean, maybe this is a heavy provisioning SX54 team, and we're going to see a 10K drop at the very end, but I doubt it. I think that when you're losing 2 of the biggest phases of the game, being your structure and arc game, there's only been 1 arc, so you never know if maybe SX54 is going to be able to push the next 2 or 3 arcs to hopefully for SX54 get the victory. I think that's their only play. They need to focus on the arc and hold their base. They need to go full defensive on their structures and just keep rallies going out, but not necessarily support, and then really support the middle. And when I say the middle, red team Song is already at the temple with a decent sized group, and SX54 is just starting to come into the middle. So I wonder if Song's going to let them get together or not with how many troops they've already got there.
I think this is where Song's going to put kind of the pedal to the metal. I definitely think they'll probably pop to the death, try to clear them out, and kind of, because SX is the type of team you definitely do not want them to linger around, because they will pull out an upset. They're very similar to a team like LIG and Snow and the old Rose team. Like, you just don't want them lingering around. So I really do think that Song's going to kind of invest it in the middle and just attempt to take down and get some rallies on some structures.
I'm peeking at some of the composition of these armies from SX54. A lot of Guan, a lot of Saladin, a lot of XY. I do see a few archers in there. There's an El Cid, actually, primary, which is not as bad as it may seem. one Trajan. There's a half-dead a half-dead Genghis coming in from the top there from Ultima. I'm interested to see on the other side. I see one Ethelfled from SX54 as well. I see Honda, Guan, Artemisia. I see XY, more Guans, more. I think that's going to be a big difference here. So Song, I think we talked about it very early. Song is a very maxed out large team. They've got a 5 billion alliance, and that usually translates into VIP 18. That usually translates into a lot better equipment. On paper anyway. So, but I'm looking at these commanders, I'm seeing a lot of Nebus, and Nebu is one of the best open field commanders in the game. Even though he is a rally commander, he just does so much damage in the middle. And when you're doing that on top of YSG, on top of, I see Williams, I see Guans, I see Artemisia, I see a lot more archers on Song's side than I do on SX54 side. I see a few archers, but not nearly as much. And right now, open field kings, at least until these new commanders possibly come out, are archers.
Yeah, and I think what you start to see is different compositions in the middle. I was looking at some of the Song as well, and they definitely have way more XYs, which we all know those kind of ran away with the show last season. Just how much work they put in, how much DPS they're gonna, and I suspect that they're gonna probably pop a very aggressive skill like to the death or something like that, where that XY, once you add that to the XY, it's absolutely filthy. You have the Guans for the silence, the AoE, the hard-hitting archers. That composition is just looking really nice on the side of Song.
Yeah, really, really good. Early skill again.
I don't know.
I'm surprised why both sides are doing it. Is it a lag thing? Is it I mean, 2 right there. That's 10 seconds wasted for war drums. And 15 seconds wasted for war drums.
Dude, and they're standing there. Maybe they're trying to
not even moving.
They're trying to lull them to sleep.
20 seconds wasted for war drums. Both teams. 10, 15 seconds wasted on all those line skills. Maybe they were just full and they're like, let's start generating some more points.
Yeah, let's generate some rage. There we go.
We're putting on maybe they're gonna do like marching band, so that they needed the colors. So like they're gonna spread all their marches out and make like a picture for us.
They're gonna make a KVK formation. They're gonna line up in a row.
I mean, 30 seconds now at this point. 30 seconds of waste. I mean, they're gonna lose the buff before they push. All right, Ark of Osiris is up. 15 people just tried to pick it up on Song side.
Let's see who grabs it.
I don't. And then SX54 grabbed it. I don't understand that.
That's the first I've ever seen that. That's pretty unique. Shout out to both teams.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not crying. You are. All right. Let's see how this goes. Oh, dude. No. CC's OP.
To the death.
Oh, bro.
To the death for SX54.
The Ark made it.
At least they're attacking now.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're fighting now. So that's good. So hey, here's the deal. That's a big deal for SX54. They need this Ark. They've used a total of 10 points. They used all 10 of their points between to the death and to be using both defensive formation and war drum. So they need to be winning. They need to be winning this. They're hard.
The problem is they lost all their structures. I think Song just lulled them to sleep while they took all their structures.
Song's got the structures. Yeah, I mean, it's just. To be honest with you, I didn't even notice that. I was paying attention to the middle.
I think
pretty lights.
I think SX was doing the same thing, and they lulled them to sleep. One structure left up.
The pretty lights were fun to watch. It was very shiny, and it got me.
They were shining bright like a diamond, fam.
I'm looking at this last defensive structure for SX54, and that Gilga Nebu is doing some work on that Xeno because there's no other reinforcements coming in, and if they only have obelisks left, I mean, one obelisk is still surrounded by free song cities, two of which still are at 200 million plus power. This could be the nail in the coffin for SX54 if they can't get this Ark and take their buildings back.
I think this Gilga's about to take out this Nebu and take the last structure. So even if they grab it, they're not going anywhere.
Oh my goodness. I'm just looking at this match. I mean, SX54 is definitely starting to dominate the middle. They should have the Ark and running with it at this point. I'm not sure why it's still just sitting there, but they need to cap it in a big way because they got some work to do on their structures. all structures are defended and held by Song. Song has every structure except for the 2 obelisks in the game.
So we're looking at 1,000 points per minute for Song to 40 for SX54.
Yep, that's 40 is 20 points per obelisk per minute, and that's what having all the offensive structures besides obelisks looks like from a points per minute standpoint. 1,000 points per minute. That basically means every 3 minutes that Song continues to hold these is an arc in their pocket, and they don't even have to return it. They just have to sit there and collect the bank. This is what we call passive income in the real world. And Song is taking advantage of it because not only are they winning in the game, they're winning on the points per minute. Structured point total for Song over under is 30,000.
Oh man, I'll take the over, please.
Yeah.
Right, same as the lotto. Man, y'all are savage in the chat. All right, so SX are rotating back. I really would have liked to see them rotate forward and posture like in an aggressive situation in the middle instead of rotating back, because I understand why they would, because they're trying to regain their footing or attempt to regain it. But I think at this point you have the arc, you need to get a little bit more aggressive and then send some marches on the backside to go just try to retake, set some rallies, because right now we are looking at 0 rallies from or actually, whoa, apologies. No, we're looking at 2 rallies from SX and then 0 rallies from Song. I think Song is just fully focused on
what's there to
open
rally?
field. Yeah, well, that is
have to rally.
Get those obelisks. Come on. No, just kidding.
Let them port in.
Let 'em-
you know,
yeah.
we don't want a gate camping situation here in the playoffs. I mean, I think look, it's becoming obvious, right? I mean, I think the elite nature of Song, not only from a strategy standpoint, but also from an account standpoint, is starting to come through here, especially considering the troop count has to be dwindled pretty significantly for the SX54 setup. That being said, I will say they performed, I would say, better last season. SX54. I don't know if there's been any turnover on the team, so that may be on my side as far as kind of hyping this up a little bit more than maybe it could have been. But the arc is in favor of SX54 right now, and they're not capping it at the Shrine of War. They are continuing it over to their obelisk, which isn't exactly the safest position either. So
look at the
I'm
amount.
curious to see what they're not doing yet.
Look at the amount of XYs that are just in this murder ball that we're watching right now, and
Yep.
that right there, you start to see, and it's just like constant DPS over and over and over. It's just like a wave of red. You're gonna see so many sad faces because of the amount of silence and DPS coming from this one murder ball, and that's just kind of what we're talking about in middle. The composition that you bring to the middle is very important, because you either need to be countering something or you got to be the aggressor, or are you playing more defensive. Just building that strategy around how your team plays is very important, because definitely Song, y'all can see, have a more aggressive approach when in regards to their archer compositions or cav compositions, and it's showing.
So SX54 is starting to take their structures back. They do have the arc still. It's not captured. I'm not, again, sure why. But that needs to go into a building as quickly as possible. They need as many arcs as they possibly can get. And that arc is even still under a little bit of duress. Now finally pushing that red march back. But that needs to go. That needs to go into a structure ASAP. They need as many of those arcs captured as they possibly can. With Song continuing to push up here at the Shrine of War, they may take that right on back with that, just being able to possibly swarm it with all those XYs sitting there. It looks like SX54 does have a solid defensive position, however, at the Sky Altar, so hopefully keeping that for a little bit longer. And now I start to see a little bit of a push from SX54, having gained a little bit of a breather, getting their marches back on the open field, and Song not wanting to give them that breather are already advancing in a deep way. On both sides, trying to keep them at bay while they continue to rack up a ton of points, with being 740 points per minute in their favor versus 230 for SX54.
This guy, just capture the arc, homie. Just capture it. All right.
It's his time to shine.
It's time to shine. Yeah, we'll put you on the stream. There you go. All right. Desert Altar.
He's at the obelisk now. He's still slow marching it to. He's directly controlling that march too, because he just changed direction right in front of himself. All right, and he's paused. He's going to go ahead and sit stationary.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You're down by 16,000 points, bud. Just saying. All right, Shrine of War is heavily contested, Boba. I think I see more blue than red, but still heavily contested. Let's see if they can make sure that they reinforce this. It's not as easy as it looks. I'm not going to lie. With that many armies around that structure, it's very difficult just to click on it. And don't even try to drag and drop. With all those marches literally on top of the structure. You're going to have to click and reinforce manually, which is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I'm just, oh man. I'm trying, I like the Zenobia. This is kind of where we're talking about it, and you'll consistently see it the more and more. If you're from younger realms, you'll start to see this where just composition and having to counter Xeno, or knowing your opponents and what marches they use to garrison is really important, because it's all about Xeno and Jadwiga. I was very surprised to see a couple of Amani garrisons that did really well on swarms, but you're ideally not going to see that on altars. You'll see that more on the shrines.
There's so much damage that comes out from that Amani garrison. If you can keep it properly reinforced, that I would argue would actually be a little bit better than most of the other stuff, because you're going to really see two rallies coming at you in this game mode, with Pakal Herald being anti-swarm, and obviously with Gilgan Nebu being the premier rally. And then of course you're going to see XY Chandra, but XY Chandra can be really swarmed down very easily. So unless you've got the field, you're not really going to see those as often as you see that Pakal Herald or Gilgan Nebu combo.
Yeah, right now we're just watching Song. They're just running around everywhere, just neutralizing stuff. So we're gonna keep looking, but it appears like Song has kind of put the pedal to the metal. The arc, I guess they're just gonna hold on to it. And
I mean, there's a big group of Song positioning from the south towards that arc. Like they're down 17,000 points.
That would be awesome if they pushed it.
You know what would be really good is 3,500 points going into your bucket. I think that would be really good.
Instead of tears in the bucket, we bring in 3,500 points.
I mean, I'm not saying that this is necessarily like the wrong play or anything, but I mean, you're down by a lot.
It's the wrong play. We can say it.
Saving the arc doesn't just help you get your structure game back on track. It gives Song the opportunity to dedicate all their troops to your buildings. So I mean, I know that you probably need a breather. Like you need a second to get your stuff back and to reposition yourself. But the problem is Song's already on your doorstep. They have all of your structures behind you and your outposts. I mean, I keep checking at the gate just to see if anybody wants to go over there. Because they could, but there are no buildings for SX54 in their starting zone, at least. So that's not going to be part of what we're going to show on this channel. But those three buildings are still on the obelisk side, top side for SX54. This is rough to watch.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of scrubbing around right now, and it's just red everywhere. The Mu Gilga has just been filthy again. I keep coming back to it, but it's one of the very few that I've seen that has gone against Zenobia's and just looked really good. Even with reinforcements, this thing is absolutely filthy right now. And oh man, yeah. I'm gonna kind of leave it right here because this Archer rally.
Yeah, Mu has some solid stuff too. Mu, Hulk, all those guys have solid everything. Their premier ralliers are definitely putting in some good work during this match, and SX54 is just having you can tell, just having a hard time keeping up with the output. I'm just thinking, what I'm expecting to see on the summary. I'm really expecting to see almost a 2-to-1 difference on the severely wounded in favor of Song. I just think that they've just done so much so quickly that forced SX54 to take negative situations. I won't even say negative trades because who cares about the trades in Arc of Osiris, but negative situations where you're sitting here having to swarm down a Gilga rally or swarm down a Pakal rally, or get swarmed down by look what's coming in towards the Shrine of War. It's about another 15 marches just coming in casually. Let's go ahead and just start surrounding the Shrine of War here and continuing the push. And okay, you swarm down a rally, but we've got 10 more marches behind to swarm it. And that's actually arguably better than the rally.
Yep, and that's kind of where we talk about map pressure, map presence. It comes in because when you're on your back foot, if the team pulls off, then it only helps. So right now you're seeing Song just kind of push and push and push. And but SX are taking a couple on the top side. We'll keep our eyes out, but you should see Song here swarming this Zenobia down pretty quick here.
You know what else you should see is that arc getting captured. It's still not captured. 5 minutes left until the arc resets itself. And if they don't capture it within 4 minutes and 30 seconds, they will lose not only the arc, but also the points from it. So interesting to see how this plays out. Song paid off Nugget to jump out of our obelisk when they played TR. Wow. Bunny from 254 putting out something interesting in the chat. So I don't know if that's accurate, but looking at this map, obviously it's very red. SX54 is definitely being outclassed here from Song. We all knew Song was a top tier team. I was putting them in the same conversation as the JSTs and you know, the top tier 60 GT type teams. OV obviously in that conversation as well. SX54 has just been very competitive against these teams in the past, so I'm curious to see if this was a letdown on the SX54 side or if this was just such a dominating performance from Song that we really need to start possibly thinking about these guys as a true contender to win the Realm of Horus.
Yeah, well, I definitely know that from when we were chatting, we definitely all had Song in the top 4 teams for sure. So they're not coming out of left field for us as casters. It's not a surprise. I think what we're surprised at is just the sheer amount of the dominance that's coming out. Like usually you don't see SX get it. It's usually very hard fought and grungy. But Song's looking really nice. You know, the rotations look smooth. I think if there was anything that definitely needs to get worked on, the skill usage, I think it was probably for the memes at that point. But that would probably be the only thing.
Staring at the arc.
Let's go.
I shouldn't be able to see the symbol on the screen right now. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, let me see. Let's go see if we can find. Ooh. Drago starting to beat out here. He's gonna become
it's whacked my mic. So red everywhere. Like not only the buildings, but also just the open field. And again, this has a lot to do with why waste healing speed ups when the point total is a 20,000 point, 19,000 point difference. Even though you've got the arc there, sitting there still waiting to get captured with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. And you know, it's still a 15,000 point game in heavy favor of Song, and Song still just putting it to all the structures here. Although it looks like the Sky Altar, there you go. The Sky Altar for SX54 did go down for SX54, so they have that back. They almost have all their main buildings back. The Desert Altar on the top lane is under duress from SX54, having been owned by Song for a good 5-10 minutes now at this point. Looking good for both teams here on the open field now finally, but unfortunately there's only 11 minutes and 20 seconds left.
This is one of the things that I always talk about as well, as when you are in middle. I always call this kind of the regroup spot in between the altar and the shrine. Yeah. And you'll see a lot of experienced teams where they just won't bother fighting in that spot. They'll just drag you to the side that they are going to and force you to choose between whether you're going to rotate back or you're going to push forward. And that's what I always like to see, because this right here, this swarm, was way more beneficial than them open field fighting and trying to kill a march. So that's something, if you're trying to pick up on stuff that you can improve on as a team. We got Heaven's Grace popping out. Love to see it.
I mean, where else are you going to use it?
Yeah.
Not going to be in the middle.
And there you go. Song took the Shrine of War.
Yikes. Okay, so you know, with just a little bit left in this match, I think this is pretty fair to say Song has the victory here. Again, this is not an elimination match. This is still part of group fighting, so SX54 still does have a chance to get into the top 2 that move on to the final elimination section of the Osiris League playoff system. That being said, I think if they're facing any other team like Song, they're going to need to do some work and try and figure out what they need to do to address, if it's possible. You know, obviously, again, the power discrepancy is something we discussed earlier in the match. I think that just pushing around their heavyweight Song having the quality rally leads that they've got too doesn't hurt at all. That Desert Altar on the top lane still getting pushed hard by Song, but it looks like SX54 will probably try and hold it.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to watch the where the marches are going, and we got some pulling back from SX. We got all the Song marches going. We even got, what is this, an obelisk or a city rally? We got city rallies coming in on the side of Song at this point.
Probably not much to hit in that city.
Oh, let's see, 77. Oy.
I'm also looking at some of the other matches just because I'm able to and you're not.
Yeah.
Some pretty surprising
Ooh.
totals to look at after this is over.
Okay.
Just to give you a heads up. Unless things change, there could be an arc difference in some of these matches, very close matches. So something to entice you and keep you guys watching.
Yeah.
And go over some of this stuff.
Yeah, and we already saw a huge upset with PX34 losing earlier today. And, oh, man, the match we casted with JST, that was a phenomenal one this morning as well. So definitely go check it out. And, yeah, I'm excited to see some upsets. Upsets in group play. They never let you down.
There's a lot of matches that are within one arc's points worth with 10 minutes left to go or 8 minutes left to go.
For upset potential or just?
For upset potential.
Ooh.
Yep. Lots to look forward to looking at here in just a moment as we'll look at the 15 UTC match closures. But this one looks like it's been closed for about 20 minutes. Song really putting on a clinic. I will say this. Let me highlight this before we really kind of start to transition over to the after party here. Song surprised me at the very beginning. They did not push that Desert Altar at the beginning, which is the norm. That's the norm for every top tier team in the Osiris League playoffs. I think for sure that when I saw that, I thought somebody messed up on the strategy or somebody messed up on the execution. I was wrong. They did not only address that, but that was their plan. They didn't do that on purpose, and it made the SX54 folks not really quite know what to do on that top lane with the marches that were then made available because Song wasn't pushing. And that gave Song the ability to consolidate their base and then push closer to when the arc spawned, which in turn made SX54 having send their marches to the middle at that point, immediately lose their Desert Altar, and then they were able to keep it, Song was. And then that really kind of set the domino effect into play in favor of Song. And once that first arc was captured, and all the structures were also captured because of the late push on the top lane, that really kind of made everything on the blue team just look like they just didn't know which way to go. And again, it's not their fault. I wouldn't have expected to see that. I would have been, giving out instructions on the fly, and sometimes those things are just not going to do what you need it to do because you haven't practiced it. People don't know what they're doing against what their normal plan would be. So I think that Song did a great job of disrupting the flow, also accomplishing the goal, but also, of course, dominating throughout the match.
Yeah, and I think they threw out something different. Traditionally with Song, all you're seeing is just forward aggression, and it was unique. They played a little defensive, like you said, on one side. They over pursued on the other, and it just threw all the march compositions off, and it snowballed from there. I'm seeing some stuff in the chat right now, and I know I saw your bet video, and whew, it's gonna be a fun one.
I mean, the first week is always the roughest because, again, like even me, I'm somebody who's been playing for a while, and I do follow a lot of these teams. I've seen a lot of these teams in the past, so I go off of prior knowledge of these teams, and that's kind of what had me really thinking SX54 had the opportunity to go up against Song and at least make it competitive, and I think they kind of did. I mean, I don't think I'm completely off on that, but it is clear that Song has stepped it up from their previous seasons and taken the next step. They've got the right players, they've got the right commanders, they've got the right gear, they've got the right strategy, and the leaders are there. So they've taken another step. SX54, I think, has stayed the same as last season, and I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing on the screen. Now, conversely, right, we've got other teams that we haven't seen before. We have other teams in other realms, even in the realm of Forest, that we haven't seen before in the playoffs. So this first week is really kind of a barometer week. Like, we're just trying to figure out who's really in the game, who's really competitive, that first week is always going to be weird. It just is, from a betting standpoint, and certainly from us trying to figure out what we should be showing you as, you know, sponsored content creators for Rise of Kingdoms, bringing you what you guys want to see on the field.
Yeah, and like you keep saying, I keep checking out the march composition, and it just, I feel like SX are bringing different marches that we're just not accustomed to seeing. We're seeing some Saladins, we're seeing more Ethels than we are, and I haven't seen very many DPS on the side of SX. I see a lot of Guans, but silence is great, but you gotta be able to stay alive long enough to silence something. So that's kind of, we're seeing some CJ combos as well, and oh, there you go. There's a 2-minute. They finally captured it, Drago, just to fulfill. Oh,
last second.
And then to make it to make it better, Song's already in the middle.
Yep. It don't matter. It don't matter. It really doesn't. You know, we're looking at, what, 3 minutes and some change left, 2 minutes left on the arc spawn. It probably isn't going to be capturable in the time it's available. You know, that being said, I mean, where else is Song going to be? There's not very many other forward places to be. They've got the thing secured. So great job to both teams. I gotta say, SX54 definitely putting up what looks to be probably a harder fight than what they anybody, at least me, anticipated they would have to put up just to get to the points that they got. Song really dominating across all the fronts here. Like I said, over under for a structure game. I mean, it's definitely over at this point. You know, we're looking at 35 plus at this point, maybe even 40 for Song. And then obviously provisions. Let's see what comes back for provisions on both teams. And then obviously with the arc being held for so long by SX54, there's really only 2 arcs in this match. So
yeah,
that should be a pretty low point total.
Yeah, I was looking around for some Song provisioners. Typically, Song does actually a pretty good job on provisioning.
Yep.
But it would be interesting to see. I want to see how their provisions work, because for them committing what they committed, if they did decent provisions, I feel like they overinvested on marches in the open field than in provisioning this match. So I do want to check that out, because they are fairly known for doing 6 to 8K provisions on a match, and I didn't see provision skills getting popped. So it will be interesting to see how they kind of did on that front.
Yeah, I mean, I will say a good takeaway from SX54 is that they are going to win the arc game by 500 points. So that's something to take away and to build on. I think that, unfortunately, during the time that they were taking that 3,500 point arc, they lost everything, which may be maybe a counterpoint to that. But I think ultimately, Song just really made their presence felt this match and really kind of put themselves in the radar for being a true contender and not just a really, really good team. Because in last seasons, they've done really, really well, but they haven't gotten to that finals section. And I think that what they're doing and what they did against SX54, which is no slouch. I mean, let's be honest. You know, we talked about some of these, you know, commander disparities and things like that, but I mean, the strategy's what really wins these matches. I've seen teams that were 6 billion power lose to a 3 billion power team, no problem. So it's not a guaranteed thing, and they may actually capture that arc. I think they will.
30 seconds. They use Swift Stride, and he is out with that CC. Yeah.
SX54 did not win the arc category.
Oh no!
I was trying, guys. I was trying. I thought they were gonna do it, but unless this double C Mina from SX54 Crazy Rage does some serious work on this double C from A-Pink in Song, yeah, it's pretty much a done deal.
Hulk's watching his homie die out here. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. No, Hulk's hitting it. He's trying, but that's a double C. You can't always catch up to a double C that quick.
Oh.
This prissy person over here. This is the one that's going to do it. Ooh, dropped right at the shrine. 20 seconds.
Oh, they got it. They got it.
It takes 10 seconds to pick up. This is their only chance.
Watch
their only chance to do it.
Watch a red march pick it up.
Yep. Okay, now they got to get in, which means they need room. 8 seconds left, and they're not moving with it. I take it back. I was right.
Rip.
I was right.
All right. Tell her the tape, boys
Feels
and girls.
good.
Feels good in the chat. All right. Tell the tape. S0NG coming in with 250K points. GG's to both teams. Pop this bad boy up real quick. Aye, and I'm back. All right, tell the tape. It shows. Look at the occupation. All right, so on the side of SX54, 24K to 48.8K on the side of Song. Arc scores. Hey, SX took the lead in that one, 3,500 to 3K. Occupation score, but then got a little over double up on occupation score. Provisions coming in again, like I said, 6K on the side of Song, still looking nice, 4,400 for SX54. Severely wounded, Drago called it. Look at it, 80 million to 65. Look at the units healed, 17 million troops healed, and then 2.7. And that's where that big differential came in, guys. And that's kind of what we talked about before, when your total power is at 2.7, 2.5, and you're going up against a 5 mil. That doesn't surprise us that much because of the power difference between the two teams. 30 to 32 teleports, 1-to-1 to arcs. All right, so you ready, Drago, to check out some of these surprises?
I sure am. And as you're bringing that stuff up, let me say this too. So, I think that when we're talking about using those units healed, that's a big deal. But something else to think about that we've seen just in 2 matches is obelisks being captured and ported into early in these matches. That has been a big difference, I think, in both of the matches that we watched. So let's see what else has gone across. I see a previous winner having lost already, so something to look at here in just a moment. Let's run it down, man.
Yeah, so in Group A, I was watching the chat. Y'all were keeping me up to date. Everybody was telling me that 108 was losing to Mimi. So
Yeah,
I'm very surprised.
end.
I bet you it came down to provisions, and they snuck it out with provisions. I'd be very interested to see that one, but they do pull it out over Mimi narrowly by what is this? 300 points at the end. We have 114K losing to the second team in IO2I, and man, that's a tough pill to swallow right there.
Bracket breaker.
Yeah, that's a bracket breaker right there. Let me see who else. XX, we already went through those two last time. C9N still looking really strong with a 28K point win over 64RL.
93T.
Oh yeah. Ooh, 93T pulling out their win as well. 28K in that difference as well. 84DL beating LIV. So there goes another 1254 team as well. 88LV taking out LN93 as well. And 1V we already talked about as well. TR looking strong from previous. 1021 Blackjack, we already went over that, and then we already looked at Song. So how is Anubis looking, Drago?
So Realm of Anubis, we had some big matches that went down. 60GT did end up winning their match, so somebody who has put them in their eye for talent. You don't have to breathe too difficultly in this situation. We've got victory from VLG against T30. We've got but this is the big one. V636, a previous champion, losing to 671K. The power was roughly the same. So from a capability standpoint, at least power-wise, it was even. And it looks like the strategy for 671K panned out, and beating a defending champion in the first match of this round is a very solid one. Lost to 86NH as well. That's a little bit of an upset as well. We also have CMC Camo World defeating the House of Fury. That was a little bit of an upset. AX Alpha Legion destroying 623 Strike. I don't know if that's necessarily an upset, but very solid match there. I expected that one to be very close. Wib beating Whom, although it was a very close match, 36K to 32K. So it came down to the wire there. And then UN88 decimating 800F, which I think that could have been a little bit closer based off the power, but it looks like UN88 absolutely dominated that one.
Oh man, so many teams that I was told about. The 671 one is super surprising. I know a lot of people. You're knocking out a champion in Osiris League, or at least beating them in week 1. That puts a lot of pressure on this upcoming match between Ash and V636 for potential to knock out an Osiris League champion before we even get to the round of 16. So that is very, very interesting. Let me dive into the Baztet real quick, and then we will round it up with Sobek, and then we'll let y'all get going. Make sure, thank y'all again for hanging out on the stream. Drop a like if y'all haven't already. But in Baztet, we are looking at RD2K. Ho!
Yep.
RD
the defending champions.
Beating the defending champions, coming out of left field. I had some people leave me some screenshots of their old matches and the teams they've played, so I wasn't as surprised when I saw it, but it is still surprising if you have 94 VN as your champions that you use your coins on. RR31 taking out MR. EE coming in from last season, still holding up really well with 43.7. DQ39. XB70 versus HMB coming up at 19 UTC. SG30 taking out KO. You see DD55, or the Rays match is coming up as well. 06HS returning and kind of picking up where they left off. They did very, very well last season. EVL as well. And 01HK were another team that did, where were they in Bastet last season? It was like top 6, I believe. Top 8.
I think so.
Yeah, they did fairly well as well. QZQ. These are a lot of teams that I know Drago was playing against last season.
Yeah.
Any major surprises for you?
Nothing crazy. A lot of these are, I mean, I will say that with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 of the alliances, I think the majority of these teams are pretty evenly matched. Is 88NC Northern Crown? Is that the new Northern Crown place? Or is that something else that I'm not thinking about? I'm not quite sure on that one. Let's see.
I'm not even sure. I know there used to be in Horus Northern Crown, the NC, right? It was hashtag NC or whatever it was.
No, it's new and cool, so not Northern Crown. All right, so but yeah, the main one from Bastet obviously being the huge upset of 94 VN losing to RD2K. I had last year, I'd picked RD2K to take it all, but 94 VN ended up beating them, and I think it was the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken.
The return
by just a little bit. So they got a little bit of vengeance.
A little bit of vengeance
this week.
I like it.
But again, I think both of those teams will likely move on to the next round, if I had to take a guess, and they'll probably have a rematch at some point for the championship, or for the semis before the championship would be my guess.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out on the brackets and all that kind of stuff. We still got 2 other matches to play in the upcoming weeks, but that's definitely a big one, especially for a lot of teams that were automatically assuming 94 VN was going to take that group. So, and diving into the final realm of Sobek, let me see. I don't see anything that's that surprising.
Yeah, there's not too many major ones. I think some good matches to kind of highlight here. One is the Royal Reapers versus Dark Knight Riders. That was a little bit of a discrepancy on power. And then also as far as the point total, Filthy Casuals versus Farm to Die. Both of those have basically equal power, and 36,000 versus 33,000 was a very close match. Farm to Die winning that match, being a later kingdom, and with Farm in your name, you never know if that's actually Farm Alliance or if it's a main alliance. So something to think about. Wrath of Odin going down to Anglers of Death. I think that was another one to take note of, considering it's an earlier kingdom than the winner. But in the realm of Sobek, that's your final realm. So these are the newest kingdoms, and some of these are fresh out of KVK1. They're not teams that have been together for a long time, unless it's a full migration. You really don't see a whole lot of like major, oh my goodness, this is a crazy alliance that can't possibly lose. This is probably one of the most even brackets out there, because they're usually pretty close to being on the same playing field from a migration standpoint and things like that. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. DR34 taking care of business, being the favorite, the presumptive favorite to win that division by almost 2-to-1 odds there against the Spartans, I think was the other thing to kind of keep in mind. But man, some upsets right off the bat. We've seen quite a few winners or previous winners and just big teams in general lose their first match.
Yeah, and it's gonna come down. Now we have Mimi and OV coming next week. You know, we have so many really good matches that are gonna be coming up between potential winners and losers from this. You got C9N, BG, man. It's like you can throw a rock and hit good matches all over the place. And there will be some elimination matches starting next week. On BG, you can't afford to lose against C9N, and you know, there's gonna be a lot of them. So I'm excited for it. I hope y'all are as well. Thank you again, Drago, for being the duo. And make sure before y'all head out, everybody, drop a like on the stream. I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. I look forward to seeing y'all again on a future stream. But until then, I'm Anthony, my co-host Drago, and we will see you all on the next video. Bye.